I'm patient to a point. I'm polite to a point. When folks take things too far, though, don't be surprised with the clapback. I'm not doing the nonsense with folks. And there are things that have been happening across this planet that are avoidable. Folks are dealing with the karma and the dharma of their behavior patterns. We all do. We have to find ways to smooth things out. I also know this to be true. We are consistent. We are persistent. The work that we do is constant because we are not a social club. Organic diplomacy and governance is all that we do. It's not personal. It's dispassionate because it must be dispassionate. It's governance, not franchisee management. Governance. Folks watched us dig 100 holes and plant 100 avocado trees just about 2 Earth years ago. Our avocado trees starting to have flowers on some of them. Very soon, we'll be pulling avocados off those trees. In the early stages of the life of those trees, you're looking at 20 avocados per tree. The number's going to grow. Eventually, we're going to have 20,000 avocados per harvest. And when the trees are fully matured, 30,000 avocados per harvest. Where we're growing the avocados is not here in Sector 1. Everyone knows that. It's in Sector 4, the Alkebu-lan and the Ab.Zu. Look at our close proximity to North Alkebu-lan, Northeast Alkebu-lan, misnomer quote-unquote Middle East. Mainly desert, not enough water, not enough arable land, cannot grow enough food to feed their populations. Oil and nat gas rich. And many of the areas on the Kush Peninsula, especially Mamlaka al-Saud. Many in Iran and Persia, despite the sanctions upon them, despite them having no water, despite them having all types of issues and conflicts, a lot of it self-actuated. Not 100 nautical miles away is where we're growing. Well, that's where Lula Malendi is, portion of the Mombasa. Our nearest operations on the Cush-Harappa Ocean. We grow the avocados and we get them from Catalan City to Mombasa. They can be placed on ships and can be taken to Northeast Alkebu-lan, to Muscat, Bahrain, Mamlaka al-Saud, Qatar. If they want to buy them in Mubin Bay, well then we'll sail them to Mubin Bay. The point is, we're in the neighborhood with a fruit, a commodity, whatever you want to refer to it as, a food product that can be acquired. They provide copper, 99.9% fine copper, or 99.99% fine silver. And they can acquire what we have grown. So when folks ask, why we pay attention to things happening all across the planet instead of just focusing here in North-Amexem? Because we're not just in North-Amexem, and our business interests are across the planet. We are neutral unto all parties across the planet. We don't take sides. We must know what we're talking about so that we don't get shade to be taking one side over another. We don't do that. We're neutral. And parties are playing games And those games that are being played impacting folks on multiple continents. And some parties have chosen badly. There are those in what some call the UAE that placed a bet and they lost. And they lost badly. Real bad. They interfered, and the Janjaweed, the RSF, running roughshod all over Western Nubia. They were backing those forces against those operating out of Khartoum. And now, the RSF, the Janjaweed, are being overrun. Why were they meddling? For what? Somaliland and Somalia. Parties are playing games. All throughout Yemeni. UAE has been playing games. And they have ticked off everybody in the region. Literally speaking, that has come to a close. Abruptly. All it took, Mamlaka al-Saud, Riyadh, and Tehran coming together and making the deal. They don't need the middleman of UAE. And UAE ticked off the Qataris. They ticked off a whole lot of folks. And now they have been made irrelevant in northeast Alkebu-lan. Do we do business with UAE? No. Will we be open to doing business with UAE? Potentially. Carefully. To not blunt our opportunities elsewhere in northeast Alkebu-lan. Because today, we're talking about the growth and trade of our avocados. As our trees begin to have flowers on them and bear fruits, it will be the apples and the avocados. When we start producing the axial flux motors, they'll be traded all throughout the Alkebu-lan and the Ab.Zu. We'd like to trade them in northeast Alkebu-lan as well. Perhaps in Mu-Bombay. Designed here. Subsidiary on the other side of the ocean to do the manufacturing. We're adjusting course because now the technology exists and we don't necessarily need to have batteries anymore. Which may cause a complete redesign on the intended operation of our axial flux motor. Which would change the game. So all this nonsense about quote-unquote silver and why it's going through the roof so high, because it is viewed as essential. It is the most dynamic conductor of electricity. So in all electronics, semiconductors, military hardware, EV batteries, and land vessels in general, because they have all these computers for these land vessels now. Aircraft, the works. You're going to find silver. Massive demand. Close to 8 billion folks on this planet. The international banksters have decided that they want to have all these folks corralled. and depopulated. But in the process, they had to be surveilled. They had to store all that video footage. Every business transaction that they do is going to be tied back to a microchip that they're going to implant in folks that are their franchisees. And every one of those transactions gets recorded and must be stored somewhere. So server farms everywhere. Inordinate amounts of electricity and inordinate amounts of water to cool down those places where they have those server farms operating. Water is a precious commodity on the planet. Silver, there's not enough of it. The thing is, the technology exists. You don't need the battery storage in the modern era. That makes the use of the silver and certain things obsolete. The solar panels, loads and loads of silver go into those. The lithium, heavily toxic. Processing, heavily toxic. Primarily for batteries. And obsolete. The production of things that no longer have the use of batteries changes the game. Again, folks worked hard to keep oil around even though oil is obsolete. They're working hard to keep lithium around even though it is obsolete. Careless capitalism. They want to make funds off the oil until they can't make funds anymore. They want to make funds off of the lithium until they can't make funds off it anymore. So you rather sully and poison the planet and poison the population to depopulate the planet from the results, the consequences of petroleum-based fuel and rare earth minerals that you don't need to make high heat resistant batteries anymore. So you're telling me the games that folks are running are all avoidable? And my response would be yes. Most folks don't know anything about this. All they know is they bought the video game console, the newest video games. They're on the couch, got the headphones on. They just want to watch the Super Bowl and be left alone. They want to watch championship matches for football for all these groups, FIFA and the rest of them. Soccer, if you would. Football, as it's called by most. They want to be in the living room and left alone. Those that's pulling the strings that are making them dance like puppets on strings don't want to leave them alone. They look to control them. The very fiber, down to the last detail. Everything about their lives, from the time they wake up to the time they rest. They want to control it, monetize it, manipulate it. Take away all jobs across the planet as much as you can is the plan. Give all of the franchisees as much as you can monthly allotments. Welfare? Take away all the jobs across the planet as best as you can and put every last franchisee on what they now think of as welfare. We're going to call something else, but it's basically welfare. All of them. Monthly allotments to take care of necessities. It expires. They cannot save. If they're not rich now, they're not going to be allowed to be rich later. So basically a glorified singular caste system. Either you're rich already, or you're the middle ground that maintains everyone else. You're not rich. You're not going to be allowed to be rich. You're just going to be basically those who maintain the herd. And those who maintain the herd and the herd are given monthly allotments. They will use robots and automation to do just about everything else. Don't worry about having a job. You get a monthly allotment for being a franchisee. Enough to keep a roof over your head and just enough food, keep you happy, and that you don't argue and rebel. You have to have a license to have a baby. They're going to microchip the baby. There's no privacy, no liberty, no freedom, and no rights. Do as you're told. Or no access with your microchip to the system. And no allotment. You cannot buy or sell in our system if you don't comply. This is what they have built. And what we have built gives our folks the option to say, no, thank you. We're good over here. Take away their pennies, they already did. Take away their paper currency, they're about to. Give it to them in digital where you control it and program it and deny it at will. That's where they're going. Gold and silver you can't print. There's always been and shall always be, quote unquote, gray markets, quote unquote, black markets. If you got silver, you got copper, you got gold or platinum, you can still do business outside of their system. So we have built the structure globally to do that. We have the Imperial Depository System. As long as you got platinum, gold, silver, or copper on deposit in the Imperial Depository, you can transact empire-wide, every continent. Establish business inside of our jurisdiction and venue. And we have the ability to do interjurisdictional business. You don't get encumbered. You don't get entangled. Your fingerprints are nowhere around. There is no foreign venue, long arm, or the law statute involved here. There's no third-party attack or collateral attack available to them. Already in place, operational underway. Already handled, and we trained folks to participate inside of our global common market. It's a massive transfer of wealth opportunity out of their system and into ours. We just can't make folks use it. Those who have the eyes to see and ears to figure it out. They will break their necks to get into this jurisdiction and venue because they realize rights, liberty, freedom, and privacy matter. And within the Amexem-Moor-Empire, they have it. And we train everyone how to have it and keep it. Dog and Pony Show, we're not here for that. Where folks are in their brain, they'll catch up. Some will actually catch up, and they will be here. And we'll be waiting for them when they get here. Most won't, but there shall be those that do. When folks realize they have a viable option, a competent solution, the wise ones will see us and take the opportunity to train and pull their weight within our jurisdiction and venue.